Yo, so your Amazon FBA product isn't selling? What do? I don't know. What do we do? We got to fix it, because if not, it's going to sit there. You're going to incur storage fees, and you're going to be losing money day after day. Let's go. What's up, guys? This is 𝗙𝗥𝗘𝗏𝗏, and you have reached the Roughneck's Ecom channel. If you want to learn how to make money online or offline, then you need to be right here. I'm a 7-figure Amazon seller. I'm also an honorably discharged Air Force veteran. Graduated from Penn State and started a career as a software engineer and leveraged that to build my businesses. If you guys have any questions on how to make money, you're going to find all your answers right here, so stay tuned. All right, guys, so you're experiencing difficulties with your Amazon FBA products. Well, this is going to be for private label guys more often than not, okay? So if you're wholesale or your retail arbitrage, doesn't necessarily matter, because you're not going to be doing any of the things that are necessary to get sales. Like, it's completely different, all right? Oh, man, something in my throat early on a Sunday morning. All right, so when it comes to private label FBA, there's so many things that you guys have to get right. And the majority of people don't get even the basics right. All right, they have no launch strategy. They don't know anything about PPC. They don't even do the proper product research. And then the product doesn't sell, and they get mad and they bash Amazon and say that it's Amazon's fault and all this. It's not Amazon's fault, guys. It's not even a little bit, okay? You know whose fault it is? It's your fault for not smashing that like button. So go ahead and smash it right about now, okay? So what do you need to do in order to get your stagnant product selling? All right, so there's a lot of things that we're going to have to cover in this video, so it might be a little longer and it's going to be kind of dry. So just, guys, just warning ahead of time, it's not going to be one of the funner videos, but it is what it is. All right, so let's go ahead, let's get into it. Let's talk about all this boring shit that we got to get out the way. Let's go. All right, guys, so first and foremost, when you're starting a private label FBA item, you need to do effective product research, but you also have to have a really good launch strategy, and that's topic number one. A lot of people don't have a really good launch strategy, okay? So what's happening is a lot of you guys are just doing, very minor product research. You're getting a product, sending it to Amazon, but you're not figuring out how to launch the product. You guys don't realize that when you put a product out there, you don't have a really high sales rank. So Amazon isn't going to show that item at the very top unless it's in a niche that's very, very abstract and you're like one of two sellers in it, okay? More often than not, based on the methods that everyone's teaching you about, you're going to jump into a niche where there's multiple sellers, and these people have been around for a little while. They have reviews and all of that, and you're kind of just stuck, figuring it out. You can't do that, all right? You can't just climb into the ring with Ali because you think you can box. Right, you got to have an effective launch strategy. So more often than not, a lot of people are going to be getting, a lot of the smart people who have a little bit of money, they're going to be doing, giveaways. They're going to be selling the product, almost at a loss in some cases. They're going to be getting in the Amazon early review program. So in exchange for reviews, in exchange for an honest review, they'll get a discount and people can purchase, leave reviews and all of that stuff. Also, people will be doing other things. They'll be consulting with companies like Viral Launch or there's a couple others, but Viral Launch is the first one that comes to mind, to get people to come in and buy in large quantities. There's so many things that you guys can do, but you have to be willing to do them. When you start a private label FBA item, the issues come in where people don't have a big enough budget. You guys are getting in with $500, $750, maybe $1,000, thinking that you can get the item and it's going to be successful, and that's just not going to be enough. You need thousands of dollars because you're going to have to do a proper launch, and then to keep that momentum going, you guys are going to have to get into PPC, or pay per click. All right, this Amazon's a promotional side of things. It's their ad platform, okay? It's kind of like Facebook ads for Amazon, and you guys are screwing that part up. All right, you guys are not doing that either, and that's the segment we're going to get into, because PPC is just as important as having a proper launch strategy, okay? So let's go ahead, let's talk about it. All right, people, and we are back. So now we're going to be talking about PPC, and this is something that a lot of you guys undervalue on a massive level, okay? You guys forget that PPC is extremely important, and some of the best sellers continuously run PPC to keep their items at the forefront. More often than not, your ACoS is not going to be down to zero unless you're doing private label drop shipping, where at that point it doesn't necessarily matter because you don't have to run PPC. But with private label FBA, you have to run PPC. Okay, you just have to. And forget all the people that are like, no, you don't, because I launched a product and it was fine. They got really, 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 really lucky. Okay, that's like a 1 in a million shot. I would not bet on that for you. You know, the whole goal is to stack your deck with aces. Okay, you want to do everything possible in order to make money. PPC is no different. It's a strategy that you need to pull, well, actually it's a tool that you need to pull out of your freaking tool belt when you're launching a private label FBA item and beyond. Now, PPC, you know, in the last segment we talked about, is pay-per-click. It is Amazon's ad platform where if you guys look on Amazon, you know, when you search something, those items at the top, sponsored, that's, you know, PPC. People are paying for that item to be seen up there. Now, when you guys are cultivating your keywords, because that's what's going to matter. You know, a lot of people are like, well, where do I start? You know, I'm like, well, first off, you got to get the keywords that are going to be popping for your item first and foremost. But in order to do that, you typically will need to run an auto campaign. And guys, once you get involved in this, you'll understand. But run an auto campaign, pull out the keywords that are making you money, get rid of the ones that aren't making you any money. You know, and you're going to have to spend money, guys. You know, a lot of people who do run PPC, they don't want to burn out their limited budget, so they'll run it at like $1 or $2 per day. That's not going to be enough to understand your keywords. You know, $5 to $10 a day is more than enough, and in some cases, depending on how competitive your marketplace is, you know, at least your niche space, I should say, you might be running it at $10 to $20 a day, which is absurd, but it's not unheard of. All right, so you need to be willing to spend. If you have a limited budget, you shouldn't be getting in a private label FBA. You just shouldn't, because you won't have the money necessary to do this next step to get into PPC. Once you find your keywords, you figure out which ones are helping you and which ones are not necessarily helping you, almost harming you by spending money and not converting over to actual sales. You toss those into your negative keywords, keep your positive ones, okay? Depending on your niche, some of those keywords are going to be ultra expensive. Okay, some of those might be, you know, $1, $2, $3, $4, $5, you know, per click to get that sale. Okay, bit my damn tongue, man. These fangs are sharp in here. Wow. But that's why you guys have to do effective product research first and foremost, and check out the market before you even get to this part, because once you get to this part, you're already committed. Okay, and you got to stay committed unless you just want to bail and get rid of the product, you know, at a dirt cheap cost, you know, at a dirt cheap price, and lose money on it just to get out of it. Now, in some cases, that's what it's going to be, but PPC is very important. All right, and you guys have to understand that even the best sellers, like I said, are going to continuously run PPC. At first, your ACoS, acquired cost of sale, is going to be extremely high when you launch a new product, because you're not getting near as many organic sales. Ultimately, you want to get more organic sales than you do PPC sales. Okay, you don't want to be heavily reliant on PPC. In the beginning, your ACoS could be extremely high, anywhere between 60 to 80%, sometimes higher than that, because you have no sales rank. How do you solve that? By selling, by letting that PPC run. Getting more sales will help increase your organic sales rate. Okay, your organic sales rank. Once that is higher, as you see it coming up, your ACoS will drop. If your ACoS does not drop, that means that product that you have is in a very heavily saturated market, and it's going to be difficult for you to increase your ranking organically without the use of PPC for some time. All right, you may have to run PPC at a higher amount, you know, $10, $15, $20 a day for months on end before you get enough traction and your organic sales rank, you know, gets high enough to where your ACoS drops down. So it's something that you have to determine, is it right for you, and are you willing to spend on that particular item or that brand in order to get there. Okay, so make sure you guys keep that in mind. And then finally, this is going to be the thing that we talk about, you know, that most people don't want to hear. Let's go. All right, guys, this is the part that nobody wants to hear. Nobody really wants to talk about, because it's painful. All right, it's painful, and it's not something that anybody ever wants to hear. Okay, and unfortunately, you got to hear it. So, oh man, this is tough. Like, I hate being a bearer of bad news, man. I hate it. You may have picked a bad product. Okay, your product it might suck, which is why it doesn't sell. Like, if you're following all these other tips and you're doing everything properly, and your shit still won't sell, it's just a bad item. I mean, sorry, it is what it is. Like, it's just a bad item. And it's not funny, all right? It's not funny because you spent your hard-earned money on this, believing that this item was going to take off and was going to make you just tons and tons and tons and tons of money. You're going to be cash flowing, and you know, unfortunately, that's the case. Like, some of the products that I've launched have not been all that successful. You know, I've lost tens of thousands of dollars on private label FBA items that just don't move, all right? And you know, it was just a bad time for the market. It was a bad product. Maybe I didn't do things properly. And I mean, even at this level, guys, like, I still mess up. Like, I can sell $1 million a year and still mess up on items. It happens. No one's perfect, okay? And more often than not, as a new seller, your first item is not going to be your most profitable item. It's probably going to be your second, third, fourth, or fifth item that, you know, is the one that takes off for you and you kind of get it right. So just understand that private label FBA is a long game, okay? And your first item is really meant to help you get selling and help you understand the process of selling on Amazon. It's not necessarily meant to be the holy grail, all right? And I know you guys probably don't want to hear that, but it's just the truth. It's the nature of things. And a lot of people are out there on YouTube telling you otherwise. Oh, all it takes is just one product. You're going to be rich. You're going to be super rich. In some cases, that is true. But more often than not, it's not going to be. You guys are going to need a ton more products. You're going to need a whole lot more than what you have in order to get to the next level. And, you know, unfortunately, with the way Amazon is marketed, you know, selling on Amazon, you know, is marketed, it just makes everyone believe that they're a freaking e-commerce superhero and that they can be the next $1 million, you know, seller. And a lot of people just don't have the money necessary to do so. And they don't have the skill set yet, and it takes time to develop that skill set, and you have to fail in order to build that skill set. So, you know, hopefully you guys, you know, take that into account, and you know, you don't get your feelings hurt if your item doesn't sell. Just, you know, it is what it is. So hopefully you guys found this informative. Hopefully you have smashed the damn like button by now and subscribe, and if you haven't, you do so right now. So if you haven't also checked out the links below in the description, you know, there's tons of free content there. I put out tons of free stuff on social media. You can follow me on IG, Facebook, whatever. And with that being said, man, you know, be safe, be smart. I'm gonna catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.